It's kind of wild how just one single off-the-cuff comment can spark an international firestorm and even threaten a military alliance that's been around for decades. So today, we're going to dig into this one remark from Donald Trump that really called the whole fabric of NATO and the US-UK special relationship into question. Let's get into it.
So here's what happened. In an interview, Donald Trump was asked about how much NATO allies contribute in conflicts, like in Afghanistan. And this is what he said. They stayed a little back, a little off the front lines. Seems pretty minor, right? Well, it ended up having these huge, huge repercussions. And whoa, the reaction, it was instant, and it was furious. A panelist in the UK pretty much summed up the feeling of outrage, saying, "How dare he say we weren't on the front? How dare he?" You have to understand, this wasn't just some political squabble. For a lot of people, this felt like a straight-up betrayal. So, to really get why people were so angry, you have to realize this went way beyond politics. It was taken as a direct, really personal insult to the soldiers who served, the ones who were wounded, and of course the families of those who never made it back home. And look, this isn't just about feelings. There are real numbers behind this pain. We're talking about 457 families in the UK alone who lost someone in Afghanistan. I mean, listen to this. A veteran who was there in Iraq back in 2003 put it bluntly, "I can promise you I was very close to that front line." So for them, Trump's words felt like he was just trying to wipe away all that sacrifice. Okay, so what are we supposed to make of all this? Almost immediately, the whole thing split into two totally different camps. Two ways of interpreting what Trump actually meant. Was this just, an unfiltered president misspeaking? Or was it something way more deliberate, a calculated insult? So you've got these two camps, right? On one side, people are saying, look, the guy's just unfiltered. He doesn't always get his facts straight. They're saying, hey, forget the delivery. Look at the results. We're getting a stronger NATO. But then the other side is saying, no way. This is so much more than a mistake. They see it as a calculated insult coming from a guy who's never seen any action, and that it's all about undermining the alliance. All right, let's dive into that first argument for a second. The idea that even if the style is abrasive, the results are what really count. This is really the classic do the ends justify the means question, isn't it? And right at the core of this argument is one simple number, 2%. That's the magic number, right? The 2% of GDP that NATO members are supposed to spend on defense, a target that, let's be honest, a lot of them just weren't hitting for a long, long time. And, this isn't a new complaint. President Obama was saying the same thing about allies not paying enough. But the argument here is that Obama's nice diplomatic approach didn't really move the needle. Trump's style, however, well, it's confrontational for sure, but his supporters say it's what finally got allies to step up to the plate. I mean, just look at Denmark. Back in 2022, they were spending 1.6% of their GDP on defense. After all this pressure, their goal is now 3%. And for Trump's defenders, this is Exhibit A. It's proof that, yeah, the tactics are rough, but hey, they get results. Someone on the panel really summed up this whole side of the argument perfectly. They said, you might not like the delivery, but the argument is a good one. The outcome is that we'll have a stronger NATO. For them, it's all about the bottom line, a stronger, better-funded alliance. How you get there is, well, it's secondary. Okay, but then there's the other side of the coin. This view says that the way you do things matters, a lot. And that this kind of bullying tactic is just corrosive. It eats away at the very trust that holds the whole alliance together. And critics are quick to point out this isn't a one-off comment. They see it as part of this bigger pattern. You've got threats of tariffs, the whole let's buy Greenland thing. It's all part of what they see as a bully and a schoolyard approach on the world stage. Yeah, one panelist even dropped this term international gangster. And what they meant by that was a leader who just doesn't play by the established rules, who uses threats and coercion instead of cooperation to get what they want. And maybe the best way to sum up this whole side of the argument is with this one question. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Donald Trump? It just perfectly captures that feeling that your biggest ally is starting to act more like an enemy, and what that does to the trust that makes an alliance like NATO even possible. So all of this, it brings us to a really fundamental dilemma, right at the heart of the whole thing. It really makes you stop and ask, what is it that actually makes an alliance strong? And what we're left with are these two totally different ideas of what strength even is. Is it all about the money, the tanks, the jets, hitting those spending targets? Or is the real strength something you can't put a price on?
Things like unity, trust, and just basic mutual respect.
And that's the question we want to leave you with. In a world that seems to be getting more and more dangerous, what's more important for an alliance to survive and to thrive? Is it the money or is it the trust?